In today's lesson, I'm going to share with you a simple exercise to discover your real why and purpose. But before we start, we have a little guest trainer. Obi is in my lap, so if you hear a little whining, he's here. He's getting old. He wants to be with me, but he's hanging out here with me. Right there. Okay, he's the smartest dog. He's definitely going to know about the why. So talk about why do you need the why and purpose? You hear about that. If the why is big, you keep going. If you are not consistent, why do you keep going? What keeps you going? And the why, your purpose is really important, right? Because it's the motivation that fuels you to do the things that even when you don't feel like doing them, they're uncomfortable, or give you the courage to step outside the comfort zone. But how can you find out why? And someone messaged me the other day, how do you discover your real why? Because often when you come into a profession, you see people with big, nice cars, big houses, you see pictures of the kids, or you have debt you want to pay off, right? What is the why, right? And maybe that's not you. And I know maybe if you're young, you're watching this and you see people talk about spending time with kids and you don't have kids. So maybe it's not relatable, right? Or maybe you're older and you have kids and you hear a young leader talking about doing this, doing that, be able to do this for the future family. And you're older and you can't relate to that 20-something-year-old kid, right? So I call it kid because I'm getting old. Anyone who's 20-something years is like a kid to me now. But so the why is really important. And I was just sharing with you one of the awesome parts of network marketing. I was interviewing a top leader on ML Nation podcast, and she's talking about our profession gives us freedom. As I think back to my life, recently I've been super, productive or focused. I've been spending 7 days a week on baseball, at least 1 hour today, sometimes with games, 4 hours a day with between the three of my boys, whether it's in a batting cage or in the baseball field. I kind of lost my voice a little bit just from the coaching. I get very intense in games. But even weekends could be up to 8 to 10 hours, right? Including traveling time, 10 hours on the weekends. And just talking to made me realize how grateful I am to have that, because having our profession gives us the freedom to do that. I think that was part of my why that got me going. I always wanted to spend time playing sports. I wish I had a father to teach me and stuff like that, but my dad was always busy. He was he was a doctor, private practice. Money wasn't a problem, but he never had time for me. And so that was my fuel for our profession, right? When I got started, I wanted to have the time with my kids. And just recently, just talking to a leader reminded me how grateful I am and what this profession is about. It's not just about the money, but a lot of times it's about the flexibility and the freedom, right? To do what you want to do. Now, freedom is also, there's an asterisk to that, because if you have kids, you don't really have freedom. Your schedule is determined by them, especially young kids, but you do have the flexibility, right? So I don't know what your purpose and reason is, but your why has got to be strong. I'm going to ask you, here's a simple exercise you can ask yourself. If you have only 1 year, and I remember my mentor asked me this, if you only have 1 year to live, what would you do? What would you do? If you have only 1 year to live, what would you do? Right? Or maybe you just have 3 years to live, right? You had some dreaded terminal illness, 3 years to live. What would you do? Right? And I think buying big houses and nice toys, that's probably not what most of you are going to choose. You're probably going to spend time with your loved ones. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to experience different things you always want to experience, right? Those are things, that's your real purpose. That's your why, right? Maybe you want to donate to charity. Maybe after you say, hey, you want to do this with your kids and family, or help out, you want to do this, create a legacy by helping a sick child, or empower, or helping the poor, whatever that is. That's your real purpose, just your real why. So that's a simple exercise, right? And our profession is a vehicle that allows us to do that. So if you're not clear your why, here's an action step. Take 10 minutes today, go for a walk, turn off your phone, turn off no inputs, or you exercise. Don't listen to any music, don't listen to podcasts, don't listen to any books. Just walk for 10 minutes or exercise for 30 minutes, no inputs. And think about, if you only had 1 year or even 3 years to live, what would you do with that time? Now, I guarantee you it's not going to be, I'm going to make more money, right? 3 years to live, what would you do at that time? And that's really your purpose, your why, what was going to keep you to die a fulfilling life, right? Feel like you lived a fulfilling life. And actually recently I did that exercise for myself. Like, hey, on my deathbed, what would I remember the most? So anyway, do that exercise. And once you're clear with that, you're going to be much clear with that. You're going to stay motivated, and it's going to help you stay consistent in your business. So that's a simple exercise to help you discover your real why and purpose, and why you're doing what you're doing.